I like to think of myself as free thinking, old fashioned liberal, and generally speaking, people want to do the right thing. This was my belief in the legacy media, generally speaking, until about 12 years ago when we got a Brexit referendum. That's when the mask started to slip in my particular view. I realised that the media had an agenda, the media play things a particular way, bury stories that they don't want to be relevant, and amplify stories that they do want to be relevant. And the content that is curated in the legacy media is to preserve a worldview and to preserve the post war boomer consensus. And then we look at what's happening with the media, the legacy media attacks on Restore Britain. And you look at online commentators such as Brendan O'Neill from Spiked Online crashing out after meeting some Restore Britain activists up in Makerfield. This is completely disingenuous, the clip that I'm going to show you in a moment or two. You get certain outlets and you get certain talking heads, and they've carved out a rather a rather good living from the controversial takes that they make regarding legal and illegal immigration, and they feather the nests, and they'll do anything to continue to feather those nests and play to the crowd. And when I say the crowd, I mean the working class man and woman of this United Kingdom. These are the people that make up the majority of the economy, and these are the people that go out and do the jobs that the elites, the middle class, and the chattering classes don't want to do. These are the people that are going to be substituted, not replaced, substituted in their own homeland. I always use the word substitute because replacement implies like for like. These are the people that, by and large, do not vote, are disengaged from the political process because they do not get what they want. Me personally, I'm an outlier. The majority of people in working class areas are just switched off the politics and they do not bother because they see no matter what happens, whether they vote blue or whether they vote red, everything stays the same because it's all part of the plan, and it doesn't include giving the working class people meaning behind their votes, even if they cast it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the first clip. I'm going to play this now, and this is Brendan O'Neill talking to Jeremy Kyle.
Because we hear that Restore could, well, make a massive difference and let Burnham in through the back door.
Sometimes you have to go, you have to go through the back door to get to where you want to go.
Proof over the weekend. It says here, Restore is the new home for neo-Nazis. As leader Rupert Lowe says, Tommy Robinson is welcome to join. If I was Farage, I'd be shining a light on Restore, wouldn't you?
So the first thing we want to say about this is the implication is that if you hold unpalatable views, many people may have unpalatable views, but they are legal and they're not criminal. The idea that's being floated by disgraced talk show host Jeremy Kyle here is you're not entitled to be represented in our parliament and you're not entitled to a vote. Or if you do vote, it shouldn't mean anything, meaning you'll never get what you want if your political view is unpalatable. That's my read on the opening, the framing of this debate or this discussion. So that's the first thing I want to point out here.
Absolutely. I was in Makerfield this weekend, as it happened, talking to lots of people, including the Reform candidate, Robert Kenyon, and I know you have to mention all the candidates. He's a real stand-up guy, in my view. He really is devoted to improving the lot of his local area. I met some Restore canvassers and activists. I have to say, Jeremy, if I'm allowed to be honest, a lot of them were quite unpleasant people.
He doesn't define this, though. He's not specific, and this is the issue. That's a subjective point of view, and he doesn't define it in real terms. He just uses the phrase unpleasant. What does that mean? Does it mean they came up to you and said hello, and you're not used to that because you're a southerner?
A northerner has been accused of terrorising London by walking around saying hello.
What is it specific about them that you found unsavoury or unpalatable? Defining it in real terms, make your points, and then we can judge whether it is unpalatable for ourselves. I think that would be my advice to Brendan. Let's hear what they had to say. We can make up our own minds.
They had unpleasant views. They were canvassing in what I would consider to be an unpleasant way.
Again, define it. You just say unpleasant. You're not defining any specifics. You're being completely disingenuous and you're trying to mislead people by being deliberately vague.
They were quite aggressive towards me. I don't know if they were also aggressive towards other people. They were not what I would consider to be nice people.
Again, no specifics, just unpleasant, aggressive, can you please define how, and not nice people. Well, I find the people on the pro-Palestine marches down in London to be unsavoury. I find them to be aggressive and unpleasant. Alright? I can be specific. I can point at things that they do that make me feel unsafe. And when they're marching for a foreign country, I don't think that should be allowed, frankly, because it's alien. It's not something I recognise as British. Alright? So when you're being derogatory about Restore Britain voters, members, or activists, define it specifically in real terms, and then we can make our own judgments.
And we know that there are lots of people with dodgy views in Restore.
Dodgy, that can mean anything. When you say dodgy, unpalatable, unsavoury, not nice people, are you referring to not nice like Katie Hopkins? Are you referring to not nice like Jimmy Savile? Are you referring to not nice like Owen Jones? Are you thinking not nice like Zach Palansky? Be specific. What is it specific about these people that you didn't like?
I don't understand why Rupert Lowe won't do something about it or say something about it.
Because here's the genius of Restore Britain. Restore Britain does not endorse its members. The members and voters endorse the platform that Restore Britain is. It is fighting on, and that's the way it should be. Every vote matters and every vote counts. The fact of a liberal democracy like we're meant to enjoy in this United Kingdom means that my vote is worth as much as Jeremy Kyle's or BrendanO'Neill's. That's the whole point. So when you get people on Talk TV or GB News or the BBC or Channel 4 saying it's unpalatable, it's unsavoury, it's beyond the pale, the great unwashed, all of these things are designed to gatekeep the discourse away from regular people. Just my view, just my opinion.
Lots of Restore supporters on the internet make racist comments, they make anti-Semitic comments.
Are you referring to a critique on the government of Israel? Are you referring to specific attacks on Jewish people because they are Jewish? Be very specific and clear on what your terms are for the use of a phrase. I think it's helpful to be specific and clarify. Otherwise, we have to presume you are a bad faith actor if you cannot define your arguments in real terms and you have to use nebulous phrases and broad strokes.
That's not on Rupert Lowe, of course, but he should say something about it, I think.
Well, of course you would, because this is what all the legacy parties do. Condemn people, write people off, say we don't need their votes, and then panic when they find another vehicle that's going to take their vote and not actually kick them in the crotch and spit on their neck and still ask them to vote for them.
Very dodgy party, and Nigel Farage should say something about it. Nigel Farage should be saying, listen, if you want to change this country, reform is the best option.
It's got all the trademarks of a dying regime being attacked by a huge predator. and they're striking out, attacking aggressively in all directions in a vain attempt to stay alive for a few moments longer. That's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of a big predator like a shark or a T-Rex taking down an animal, and the animal doesn't realise that its days or minutes are numbered. That's what it comes down to. Always remember that this guy, BrendanO'neill, he used to work for the... I'll just bring it up now, actually. Here we go. Living Marxism, later rebranded to LM. Spiked Online, launched in 2000/2001 in the UK as a successor to Living Marxism, the magazine of the Revolutionary Communist Party. It was founded in 1988, rebranded to LM in 97/99, closed in 2000, so there we go. So what this sounds like to me is the thought that the communist or the Marxist movement wasn't going anywhere in Britain, at least in the short term. And what they decided to do is try to capture the right-wing discourse in Britain and to shill for the right-leaning people that were paying for the publication. Very disingenuous, not genuine, not authentic in the slightest. I'm getting on to the next clip now, and this is from Isabel Oakeshott. We all know who she is. She is the fiancée, if not wife, of Richard Tice. We're going to see what she's got to say about Restore Britain now.
I'm going to make a bit of a confession here. I am not nearly as blunt about Restore on social media as I really want to be, because of the absolute misery that they inflict on anyone, particularly women who are known to be Reform supporters, on anyone who calls them out or questions them online. They are very, very aggressive on social media. And I'm sorry, but my opinion is that some of the people involved in that party are thugs. That is my opinion.
Far-right thugs, perhaps, Isabel? Far-right thugs, possibly? That sounds like something Tutia Keir would say. Mask is slipping there in my particular view. I am going to be very clear. If you cannot stand what people are saying to you online, get offline. If you cannot stand the heat, get out of the oven. I'm not condoning pile-ons on anybody. I don't think that that's the right approach. But I can understand why people may take umbrage with Isabel Oakeshott. Remember what Reform UK, what the higher-ups in Reform UK did to Rupert Lowe. They reported him to the police, bogus charges, later dropped, to try to politically assassinate him. It didn't work. So this comes across as very, very, very narrow-minded and narrow-sighted. She's upset that Reform UK has lost all of the traction online. That's what it comes across as. That's what I'm getting from this.
They are the most unpleasant people I have ever come up against on social media. And that is saying something after years of dealing with hard left-wing trolling.
Right, so we'll leave that one there. But let's remind ourselves what she was saying last year about Rupert, shall we? Let's just remind ourselves this is just, 14, 15 months ago.
Really sweet, isn't it? Poor little Rupert. He's quite new at politics. He's really new in the House of Commons. And, this is what happens to people who are amateurs at politics, and they become MPs, and suddenly they think, yay, look at me, I think I could be Prime Minister. They all do it, bless him. Nigel has been in this game for decades. He has devoted the best part of his life to the causes.
So we're going to narrow this down a little bit, and what we're going to mention about this is something she just said, that Nigel's been in the game for 30 years. What has he achieved? What has Nigel specifically achieved for the right of centre politics in the United Kingdom? Not much. He got the Brexit vote, possibly, maybe, alright. It was on the vote leave side, okay. Did he expect Brexit to actually win? What did they do in 2019? He stood down his Brexit party to give us the Boris wave. He only was elected into Parliament, I think it was his 7th time trying to be elected to Parliament, in 2024. Alright? That's what Nigel Farage has done for the right wing. Not much. In fact, didn't he say he defeated the far right in Britain? What is the far right in Britain? To me, the far right changes on a daily basis, depending where the conversation is. Remember, the online and the offline discourse from the left of centre, up until 5 seconds ago, was branding Nigel Farage far right, Reform UK far right. Now Restore Britain is far right, and the talking heads from Reform UK and Talk TV are saying that essentially we're a basket of deplorables. We're not worthy of a vote. We're not worthy to be even entertained in the same breath as them. This is despicable. This is absolutely insane. This is what needs to change. So we're going to leave this here. All of this reeks of desperation, and it reeks of the gatekeeping, the elitism that has plagued the United Kingdom for centuries. This is why the grooming gangs were allowed to happen, because it's happening to people that are white and working class. People think it's neglect that allowed this to happen. It's not. It's indifference or disdain. They don't believe they have a duty of care to the native British people, and they don't see us as having any claim or inheritance to this land, to our country. They don't see that. It's not a concern of theirs. Well, the in for a rude awakening. That's my opinion. As always, your mileage may vary. You let me know. Do you think the gatekeeping from the legacy media is all about what I'm saying here? Disdain. Our views, our concerns, our very country is nothing to do with us, because they say it's nothing to do with us. We're meant to sit here and take it, and then take some more. I've met many, many people at Restore Britain, Unite the Kingdom marches, and other places, other get-togethers, and I've never had anything but positive experiences with these people, which says more about the people shouting us down than it does about me. I appreciate your time as always. Like and subscribe, do all that great stuff. I'll see you in the next video.